Parents, family, and friends, welcome to this main event of Parents Weekend. Our commencement speaker, Jamie Siminoff, has been an inventor and entrepreneur for his whole life. He is best known as the founder of Ring, the video doorbell company that is making neighborhoods safer all over the world. A graduate of Babson College, Jamie was already founding companies while still in school. We first met him on one of our Delphian business trips, where we take students to see leaders out in the world. At the time, Ring was a small, young company recently launched from Jamie's home garage. In that first visit, we were struck by Jamie's tenacity, his passion for his customers, and his grit in bringing his inventions to life. In subsequent visits over many years, our students were lucky to have a front row seat as Jamie transformed Ring from a startup to a global powerhouse reaching millions of customers. You may recognize Jamie from the Ring TV ads he stars in, where he plays his real-life role of inventor and founder, sometimes with Shaquille O'Neal as his comedic sidekick. You may have seen him as a guest on Shark Tank. You may have seen him in the countless news stories last year, announcing that Ring, the company he started in his garage, had been acquired by Amazon for over $1 billion. Jamie is an exciting, living example of the American dream, and we are honored to have him here today to address our graduating class of 2019. Please help me welcome Jamie Siminoff.
Thank you. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, families, and thank you, students. And thank you to the Dayton family for introducing us to this wonderful institution and for being great mentors to myself and my family. I'm humbled to be here today. I really, truly am. This place is amazing, and you guys should all be proud of all of these great students that are going to be graduating from here, from this wonderful institution. So I'll start off with a commencement speech, I think, in the wrong way, which is, don't take any advice. This speech is not about advice, and the first advice I will give you is not to take advice in your life. To make sure that, because advice, when I talk about advice, it comes from a place of your knowledge imparting to someone else's knowledge, and you are individuals, and you're coming from different experiences. So what I always say is, rather than giving advice or taking advice, it's best to listen, understand what people have gone through, learn, take mentorship, but make your own decisions. So as I not give you advice in this commencement speech, please do not take it. But I hope you'll learn. And as part of that, in my learning, one of the things that I did at Ring is I put my email address on every single box that we ship, now in the millions of boxes. And I did this because when you get information, a lot of times we'll read that 76% of people like something, or 94% of something, or whatever. But data itself doesn't really tell us the truth. I learned that here, that I'd say the metaphor of my email address is the dictionary. It's about your ability to really find out for yourself what something means. And don't ever forget that. Don't ever lose that ground truth. Don't ever lose diving deep to learn what's happening out there. Don't just look at the big numbers. Look at the little numbers because they matter. Always remember, open up that dictionary and understand that word for yourself. One thing at Ring that we had from the very beginning, and Trevor talked about a little bit, is a mission. It really is the invention. I call myself the chief inventor at Ring. It really is the invention that made Ring into such a success. Our mission is to reduce crime in neighborhoods. Now, while we made doorbells and other different types of products, those are just plastic and PCB boards and batteries. But those don't inspire people. Missions inspire people. Things that do something better for the world inspire people. So one not advice I will give you is to go out when you now leave here and as you go on your journey in life, do things that inspire yourself, because those things not only will get yourself up in the morning when it's cold and you're tired, but it'll also inspire others around you. It'll inspire your team. It'll inspire your customers. It'll inspire your vendors. And that inspiration will drive you much better than a financial return or anything else. And when we're talking about inspiration and going for things, I always say set goals that are unachievable. An achievable goal is just a ceiling. It's something that stops us from achieving what really is greatness. If I had thought about it many, many years ago when I first met Sky Dayton, if I had been told that I was going to be the commencement speaker for his daughter's graduation while I was working in my garage, I probably would have said that seems crazy. And if I'd set a goal, it wouldn't be this big. But today I'm up here. And that's because my goal was to reduce crime in neighborhoods across the world, and it's unachievable. But it's a great one. And so while you're doing this, and since we're in wine country, I will use the metaphor of grapes. Now, none of you drink wine yet, and that is fine. You have a little bit of time to go, but I'll explain to you. The way that the best grapes are made is you don't give them all of the water and all of the sort of everything. The best grapes are grown on a hillside where they get stressed, and the stress makes the sugars, and the sugar is what makes great wine. And so you want to be like that grape. Stress yourself just enough. You don't want to die on the vine, as they say. But stress yourself just enough so that you become that great grape. Don't give yourself everything. Don't put yourself in a position where you're not challenging yourself. Make sure you keep that challenge going, because that's what makes great wine and will make you into great people. Not advice. Make sure also that as you're out there that you stay different, that you stay weird. When everyone's moving in the same direction, when what you do, if you ask your friends and your family and your peers, if you say, this is what I want to do, and everyone says, that's great, question that. Great things come from making decisions that are tough, just like the grapes. They come from the stress. So make sure you're always pushing yourself in these things. Do the things you truly believe in, not just because the crowd's moving there, but because it's the right thing to do and you can feel it in your gut, in your mission. Linear inputs create linear outputs. If you're doing the same thing as everyone else, you'll probably get the same results. And if you do want to be something spectacular, and I think this school breeds spectacularity, I know, it's not in the dictionary, then you will want to not be linear. And I'll leave you with one thing that I was left with at my graduation from college. It was so important, and it's on your logo: integrity. The one thing that you own when you leave this school today is your integrity. It's the thing that no one else can take away from you. It's the thing that only you can decide what you do with it. And I will say, it becomes tough as you go out in life to make these decisions, and to make the decisions that are always the best ones, not just for yourself, but for the long term, and for the world, and for doing things right and keeping to morals and integrity. And I just say, stick to that. It's on the logo. It's what you know. Don't ever forget it. The world is here. It's a tough one, but there's a lot of opportunity. I believe you're all very much prepared for it. So I will say, guys, class of 2019, go get them. Thank you.
We have 29 bright and shiny young adults to launch today. Our goal is to acknowledge what they've accomplished as a beginning, not as an end. We expect them all to go on to bigger things. The diploma states that each graduate has successfully completed a course of study prescribed for graduation from the high school, having demonstrated the ability to apply the knowledge thereof, and is therefore awarded this diploma on June 2nd, 2019. I'd like to introduce our graduates. Our first graduate is as much an artist with advanced physics and math as she is with a canvas and brush. Heading to Stanford this fall, she plans to feed her insatiable curiosity by studying astronautics. Our first diploma of 2019 goes to Amber Dayton.
Thank you. As the first graduate speaking today, I would like to start with a few thank yous on behalf of the whole graduating class. Thank you to the staff and faculty Without your deep care for our school and for each of us, this incredible atmosphere of positivity and support would not be possible. Thank you to our parents and families, whose love has helped us more than we can describe. We owe a debt of gratitude to L. Ron Hubbard for his educational philosophy that has opened a world of learning for us. Lastly, thank you to all of you for sharing this wonderful weekend with us. I used to feel a pervasive fear whenever I thought about the future. I doubted my ability to create the future that I wanted despite any actual successes. But I couldn't figure out why I felt this way. I found my answer to this toward the end of my program when I got to study the classical religions. These religions are all searching for some ultimate state of enlightenment, something that transcends the physical universe and brings you to this new spiritual level of existence. While I'm not devoutly religious, I was able to recognize a commonality between religious pursuits and the pursuit of a challenging career. The industries of the world, from medicine to creating music to my personal area of interest, space travel, are often in a constant state of change. Yet the ideals behind them, like living healthier lives or uplifting people through art or discovering the laws of our universe, these ideals are anchored in place. They are unmoving, and to me, they are spiritual. Reaching them is a form of enlightenment in itself. So here's what I have to think about my future. If I strive for an ideal far beyond basic physical survival, the risk of failing versus the reward of succeeding carry vastly different weights. The risk of failing might be not being able to pay my rent, but the reward of succeeding might be achieving lasting positive change for mankind. The reward so far outweighs the risk that the risk becomes almost insignificant. So even if I do fail in 100 different ways, the future can always contain this enlightenment, and I have no reason to be afraid. Thank you.
Known for his thoughtful intelligence and leadership, whether on the soccer field or student council, our next graduate enrolls at UCLA this fall, Nigel Minton.
Hello. The student going through the Delphi program, in my eyes, is like the making of a pottery piece. You start as a simple lump of clay, pretty shapeless, without much form, possibly unstable, and definitely uncentered when spun on a pottery wheel. As you move through the beginning of the program, making and learning from mistakes, gaining a foundation in ethics, learning to understand and apply the study technology, you gradually feel yourself becoming more stable, firmly stuck to the wheel and less wobbly. This is called being centered. The program, at first, seems to be the artist. It helps the piece to expand and develop toward a future, molding into a work of art with integrity, one with leadership and self-determination, a problem solver, one who is independent. By the end of the process, each student has become a piece that is beautiful and yet completely unique. Just as no two pottery pieces are the same, no two products of this school are the same. As a student, when you take a step back and look at your progress, you realize that in the end, you are the one who created this effect. You are both the artist and the artwork, completely in control of what comes next. Thank you.
Creating Delphian's first ever film festival, putting on the lower elementary and middle school plays this weekend, winning photography awards, participating in major humanitarian activities, our next graduate plans to take her energy, verve, and passion for life directly into the film industry. Pruitt Carl.
The tangled green of rolling hills, an endless sloping road, carried their restless souls to a place of new beginnings, where the children roam, free to explore the furthest reaches of who they are. Where the children grow, there are no such things as boundaries. Where a new path is paved, built through the determinism of the children who once thought they were small. Tears are shed and dreams are realized in the slow becomings of who they are meant to be. When the time comes and they are bathed in deep green, standing at the edge of their road, they will realize that this end is really the commencement of a new beginning. And when they travel away from the familiar hills and into an unknown tomorrow, they are fearless, they are free. Thank you.
Honest, loyal, and deeply caring, the sparkling smile of this next graduate will be missed by us all. Heading to Hofstra University next year, Kirsten Carberry.
I want you all to picture this. You're walking down the road and it's about evening. You see Delphi and a few of your friends standing outside reception. Now, instead, imagine this. You're walking down the road and glancing over at the darkening sky. The blue is quickly getting consumed by pink, and you watch as strong gold streaks leak through the swaying trees nearby. Pretty birds sing from up above and almost harmonize with each step you take against the pavement. As you approach the large brick castle that is now spotted with gold due to the sinking sun, you see your friends with their laughing faces and their perfect smiles. I learned many things from Delphi, but my favorite was how to see beauty in everything. It was how to see love. It was how to see perfection with the imperfections. It was being at peace with all there was around me. It wasn't until this last year that I realized how much I love this world, even with all of the imperfections. Because of this, I find my life to be all the more beautiful. Thank you.
With a reflective and earnest concern for the state of education and a passion for helping others, our next graduate is sure to shine his own light on the fortune of tomorrow's children. Harry Wang.
Thank you. When we ponder the future, some sort of concept about light or hope might come to mind. But we can't look at light among light. We can only observe light in darkness. We can only find the light of hope in the darkness of hardship. It is in that light that a person can realize what he's good at the most, and then become able to do what he's good at the most. Just as a candle emits light when a source of fire is provided to it, Delphi has fueled the candle of my heart with the fire of life. The fire has reflected things so I can see, and now it's my turn to shine so that our world can be brighter for all. I was the candle, now I must become a star, knowing that this fire should be passed on. And I know we should not be lost if we can light up each other's candle in our hearts and reflect all others. That was the Delphi world and journey. It is my hope and future now. And I sincerely appreciate the beauty of this richly colorful program and how much life it has given me. Thank you.
Under a quiet exterior, there is a powerful determination in this next graduate. NYU Abu Dhabi is making a wise scholarship investment of $50,000 to support her studies in sociology. Sophia Lynn.
Before Delphi, I always felt like I was too common, too ordinary to stand out among the crowds. I always asked myself if I was going to stay ordinary like this all my life. Thinking about this always made me unable to confront my future in my life. However, the Delphian program changed the way I think about myself. I was able to do a lot of projects on the program. I helped with impoverished children, teaching them to read. I work with intellectually disabled people just last month at a disability center. By doing these projects, I started to see that my studying here and the fact I get to ask myself all kinds of questions about the world and my life are already luxury that not everyone has. The Delphian program also made me see that I can do great things while being common. It doesn't take a genius to do something nice, something kind, or something great. An ordinary person can do extraordinary things too. Thank you.
This actor, singer, and future humanitarian has a strong drive to help make the world a better, happier place. With plans to spend next year caring for young children, she's getting a great start. Riley Croman.
When trying to sum up my experience at Delphi, I tried many different ways to explain it. I started with numbers. I've lived in 4 different dorms and had 11 different roommates. I've sung in over 70 choir performances and have been in 14 plays. I've been coming to Delphi for 4 summers and 6 school years. That equals around 1,600 days, and every single one of those was filled with precious moments and memories. The next way I tried was with stories. There was the midnight trip to the bridge with choir, when I rolled headfirst down the soccer hill every day during softball season. The time when I fell flat on my fat face after saying I'm a rebel on a ski trip. Or the story of how I built a hot tub in the middle of a disaster zone. The last way I tried was with the highs and lows that I had with my time here. How I got behind on every form except the last one. The incredible books and stories I read. The friends I lost and gained. And the late nights worrying if I was going to graduate, and the joy I felt when I did. But which of these different ways answered the question I asked? The truth is that I don't think anyone could perfectly sum up all of the time, love, wins, or losses they have at their time at Delphi. What they can do is try to experience as many things as possible. Try to make the number of things you're a part of bigger than you can imagine. Go on adventures and try new things that you will have stories to tell. Try to have wins and try to have losses. All of these things are what help you find out who you are, who you want to be, and what impact you're going to make on the world. Thank you.
Off to UC Berkeley next fall, this next graduate showed us what an irrepressible willingness to persist can do. We have learned not to doubt him, and we're proud to award this diploma to Hank Wong.
Delphi led me to responsibility and self-determinism. It led me to try all kinds of decisions and mistakes to help me realize what was right. Before, when I had the chance to experience my own decisions, I always refused to listen to others, and I did what was wrong. But after I came to Delphi, I had all the freedom to try everything I decide myself. I started to make decisions for myself, and realized what was right for me. From that point forward, I changed. I became too willing to work hard and became much better about making the right decision. I started to care about my education. I would read books to be in them, not just because I need to finish them. And this made everything about my education more enjoyable for me. My father used to tell me when I was a kid, he said, a smart person always works hard because he knows that his intelligence will not take him to places. It's his hard work that will. And now I understand what he was trying to say to me by sitting here at Delphi. I will carry this with me to my future journeys. Thank you.
She could make us laugh and she could make us cry, but mostly she made us laugh. This next graduate takes her unique humor and spirited outlook on life to the University of Colorado Boulder, where we know she will do well. Grace O'Byrne.
Thank you. How can happiness be defined? Where can you find it? The literal meaning, it is a state of well-being and contentment. For some people, it can be defined as drinking a hot cup of coffee on a rainy day or swimming in the ocean at sunset. For some, it is seeing their children reach their goals. Before I came here, I couldn't tell you what made me happy or where I could find it. I would look for what made other people happy, and I would follow in their lead, regardless if it made me happy or if it was ethical or not. I was rarely my own individual. The few times I found a little bit of integrity, I still felt apprehensive to the idea of rejection by my peers. This school opened my eyes to the world, challenged my opinions, built up my integrity and ethics, as well as knowledge and leadership. It became a place where I was able to create and voice my own thoughts and learn without fear of rejection. That led to what I believe to be real happiness. I found it here at Delphian. Thank you.
Always wise beyond his years and tuned into the world in a distinctive and thoughtful way, this next graduate is off to Hamilton College to study economics. He has high goals for himself, and we suspect he won't stop until he achieves them. Alan Zhao.
Hello. Through most of my life, I was always trying to find my true self. I would ask myself, what kind of person am I? Every time I would get a different answer, but all the answers have a similar pattern. You're not as good as others. I feel lost. Then I arrived here, where I had a chance to seek the answer myself. During the Thinking with Classic Religion course at the end of Form 8, I saw my journey here as similar to the holy struggle of Buddhism, where both paths, in the end, help lead you to find your true self. Maybe it sounds dramatic, but I received new life at Delphi. The suffering of rebirth was great, but the happiness after that was incredible. It is hard to say what changed, but from the courses, the literature books, and the challenge from the practical program, I think I simply found my true self. This journey helped me exceed my own limitation, the prison I drove for myself. Like a newborn baby, I'm now ready to embrace the world. Thank you.
Our next graduate is the kind of person you want by your side when times are tough. We think his innate sense of loyalty and trust will serve him well in college and beyond in his targeted field of business management. Wayne Yang.
Thank you. Delphi's education has shaped me into the person I am today. It gave me knowledge and tools to create the future I want to create. It taught me that sometimes life is just like a game of basketball. You'll have wins, a lot of them, but you'll also make a lot of mistakes and encounter losses. However, it isn't about the losses and the mistakes that you made. It's about how you can take the blows and stand back up. Albert Einstein once said that failure is success in progress. Nobody is free from errors, but it's the wise and prudent man that learn from it and choose the next course of his life. From Delphi, I learned that to not fear the fails, but to embrace them. And it's okay to hit rock bottom, because sometimes it can be a great foundation on which to build on. I have built my foundation here, and I'm looking toward my future. Thank you.
A multi-talented artist and singer, the passions of this next graduate reach beyond the arts and deep into chemistry, biology, and the environmental sciences. In more ways than they yet know, McGill University will be lucky to have her. Alba Arguello.
I have always struggled with trying to fit in. Like a piece of a puzzle, I knew that I belonged, but I didn't know where. My experiences here helped me realize that instead of trying to be like everyone else or fit some sort of ideal I thought others would admire, I found simple joy in spending hundreds of hours in the ceramics room, in carving a 200-pound piece of marble into a piece of art, and in being perpetually covered in paint and clay, or playing hours with Alan. I immersed myself in studying in a world that I simply found fascinating. But it was a gradual process with many important parts. The program itself was beautiful, leading me step by step through so many changes. The staff and their care were immeasurably valuable. Just one small but important example. Late at night, sometimes I would sneak into the ceramics room, forget to clean up, open the kiln at like 400 degrees, and which was actively firing all the pots, and that is something that's really, really bad, and Eric would tell me all the time that I was not supposed to do that, and I did it over and over again for so many times, and even though he always somehow managed to find out, and even though I tried to hide my pieces that I would unload from the kiln, he would somehow find them, and he appropriately scolded me. His patience and support never wavered. Really, the whole Delphian experience is beyond description, but is so appreciated by me today. I do not know where my mind as an artist will go, but I know that I will continue to soar over every mountain, valley, and nuance of my life. And now I know that this change in perspective defines not only who I am, but how I belong. Thank you.
Athlete, actor, musician, and vivacious friend to young and old, our next graduate has left her mark on the school in countless ways. She takes her vibrant smile and big heart to the Toronto Film Academy next fall. Angelica Hangden.
A crucible is a situation of severe trial leading to the creation of something new. For me, Delphian was a crucible. It was here I discovered the power of the individual, and my horizons, my limitations, gradually disappeared when I discovered they were just an illusion. Like the distant waves meeting the sky, they never really existed. Along with my fellow graduates, I can now strive to find sanity in the chaos, to be someone unafraid to rock the boat, to be crazy enough to think I can make a difference in the world. Thank you.
Whether on the athletic field, managing projects, or getting academic work done, this next graduate always humbly made work look easy. With interest in language expression and human emotion, she enrolls at Vanderbilt this fall. This diploma is for Crystal Palm.
Thank you. Everyone wants to know what life means to him. Me too. I started my journey at Delphi 4 years ago to find the meaning. At first, I thought the point of life was to be perfect at everything and make people love me so that I could have an existence with people around me admiring me. I tried filmmaking, student council, and memorization of obscure lines from books to make myself look amazing. My world was surrounded by other people's opinions. People liked me for what I did. I thought I had reached my goal and that this would make me happy. However, it didn't. One night, I was lying in bed, thinking about the moments I was proud of. These moments turned out to be when I was playing sports, forgetting everything else. It turned out to be solving problems after learning and thinking. It turned out to be bravely admitting mistakes and make them right again. By the end, I realized I need to just do what I think is right and to act with integrity, not desire to be liked. There are people who love me and they'll love me for whatever I do. There are people who hate me and will hate me for whatever I do. So just be yourself, be simple. Thank you.
Above all his many skills, it was this next graduate's leadership that developed most dramatically. His genuine thoughtfulness and care changed the lives of many students during his time here. He is off to Babson College with a work belt full of ethics and leadership tools and a Delphian diploma. James Gentili.
Up until 10th grade, I went to public school in New York. Even though I had my family and friends, and I was successful on the football, wrestling, rowing, and lacrosse teams, when I thought about my future, there was a deep hopelessness. Academically, I was a failure. It seemed to my teachers and me that I couldn't learn, and it was believed I had a learning disability. I turned into a troublemaker, and I did countless foolish things, some that were harmful and dangerous. Then I arrived here, and I gradually shed this false personality. I discovered I not only did not have a learning disability, but that I had no problem studying. And I began being passionate about learning. I found out for myself that I was the determiner of my present and my future. I've become someone who loves and appreciates the beauty of people and life. My purpose is strong, and my vision for the future is long. There's a magic to this place, and I can't thank Delphian enough. Thank you.
Headed to Purdue University, this next graduate hopes to pursue a career in nutritional science. We expect his kindness, intelligence, and sense of humor will serve him well. This diploma is for Jeffrey Zhu.
Hello. I started high school as a child who knew barely nothing about America, who didn't know anyone or anything that was here up on this hill. Now, I stand here on the precipice of the future. It begins here and today. I go into college with the foundation and the platform Delphi has helped me build, consisting of the basics and other additional abilities and skills that will serve me lifelong. Delphi helped me recognize that I will travel my own path in higher education, and in life. In the future, no matter where I go, what I do, there will be challenges to face. But I will be facing those challenges with my heart wide open and my mind confident because of the foundation I built here. I'll strive for excellence in every task I encounter in the future. I'm ready to steer the ship of my life to the shore of success. Thank you.
Many graduates say the school has made them feel like part of our family. Speaking for many of our community, this next graduate made us feel like part of his family. His irrepressible smile and warmth will be sorely missed as he takes his continued studies to Temple University. Maad al-Qadim.
When I was 14, I was given the opportunity to choose between staying in Saudi Arabia or coming to Delphi. It was a choice between suffering discrimination and racism or learning in a place where everybody is accepted for who they are. A choice between a school where everybody's opinions and ideas were discouraged or a place where they were encouraged. Well, I made the decision to come here and it changed my life. Here, I was given the tools to find out who I was, who I wanted to be, and what I wanted to achieve. It was here where I discovered that I was interested in helping others, in helping that others succeed in life. It was here that I discovered that with a lot of hard work, a small group of individuals can improve this world. And for that, I'll be forever grateful. Thank you.
The University of British Columbia will certainly be grateful to receive this next graduate. Among her many aptitudes and talents, she hopes to pursue further studies in biochemistry. We are very confident in her future. Talia Morphopoulos.
It was a warm breeze rushing through my hair, walking back from the gym after slots, with pastel colors painted across the sky. It was being crammed into a bus for hours, cheering in the pouring rain until my throat hurt, and hugging the team after their wins or losses, telling them they did an amazing job either way. It was coming up with a ridiculous cheer on the spot during officer meeting, putting together Valentine's bags at 2 a.m. in the freezing chapel, and getting called out of class to Corey's office, hoping for student council promotion. It was learning the language of trigonometry and calculus, understanding the history of humanity, and practicing how to be a leader and good public speaker. It was sailing the raging seas with Wolf Larson, working the front lines of World War I with Dr. Zhivago, and trying to escape the thought police with Winston in 1984. It was long nights of hard work, long days spent with friends, and short years that went by too fast. It was the past 5 years. It was more than just high school. It was Delphi. Thank you.
We see a bright future in this next graduate who plans to double major in the dramatic arts and marine biology at Eckerd College, where an attractive scholarship helped them catch this rising star. This diploma is for Megan Spencer.
Hi. Before I came to Delphi, I was a big fish in a small pond. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, I knew what I was capable of, and I had everything planned out. What I didn't expect was to start drowning. When I came here, I felt like my voice was just an echo beneath the water of what was this gigantic lake. I didn't know how to confront people, and I didn't know how to confront myself. Coming to Delphi enabled me to take a step back. I was able to really explore myself for the first time and to find out who I really wanted to be. I discovered storytelling and science. I worked hard and had many successes and many failures too. Delphi taught me how to rise above them, to take control of my life and my environment. Throughout my years here, I've learned not only who I am, but who I'm striving to be, and I couldn't have discovered this without Delphi. Thank you.
This next graduate will take her ability to light up the stage to Eugene's University of Oregon. We couldn't be happier. In just 90 minutes, we can drive down I-5 to see her perform in person. We're very proud to give this next Delphian diploma to Sienna Schofield.
What does it mean to fly? This quote is from Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's the final book on the Delphi program on the course Thinking with the Classical Religions. We can start working with time as you wish, till you can fly the past and the future, and then you will be ready to begin the most difficult, the most powerful, the most fun of all. You will be ready to begin to fly up and know the meaning of kindness and of love. So let that sit for a second. I had to let that sit for a second, and the statement stuck with me so much that I just had to be alone with my thoughts after I finished the book. So I escaped to a little spot in the woods behind Dragon Hall, and I just let myself be there with no distractions. As I stood outside, goosebumps rising on my bare legs, I was overcome with a sense of knowing that I had never felt before. I was alone, but I could feel all of the life around me. I could feel the rustling trees and the bobbing heads of roses. I could feel the wind brushing my skin in feathery waves and hear the animal sounds in the woods. And from the nearby building, I could feel the life of several hundred powerful people barely contained just bursting out. And I understood that though my last 5 years had been crammed with knowledge, I was only beginning to understand love, and it was incredibly beautiful. That moment was the accumulation of 5 years, and it was every bit worth waiting for. So what does it mean to fly? It means to know love as life's nourishment, love as goods, love as knowledge, love as right, love as life, love as freedom. Thank you, Delphi, for helping me learn how to love harder and more broadly than I could ever before. Thank you.
Off to Michigan State University to study computer science, this next graduate showed a quiet but consistent dedication to the well-being of his fellow group members and a willingness to take on any challenge presented. This diploma is for Andy Jaquez.
Before arriving to the school, I was aimlessly wandering around with no real purpose and no real drive. I came because I wanted to do well and to be prepared for college. I leave with that, and much more. I've been able to realize the importance of many things, like the value of hard work. And with the help of the staff in the practical program, I discovered that I could be a successful leader. I found real purpose for hard work. I realized hard work is fun and actually isn't something to avoid. A quote from Mr. Hubbard that my senior class would say during our class musters was, "Production is the basis of morale." I learned to see the truth of that quote. I feel so much more capable and ready to take on the future. Thank you.
Whether playing the cello or 3D printing in the tech lab, this next graduate did everything with her distinctive approach and style. She's headed to Western Oregon University, where she'll be pursuing a career in forensic science. Chloe Rogers.
Hello. I've spent my whole life at Delphian. Needless to say, it's been quite a journey. Along the way, I learned a lot about myself and developed an interest in forensic science. I also learned the value in every risk life gives. Throughout my best achievements and my horrible failures, there was always someone here who was able to help me. But they didn't just help me. They helped me see that I could solve the problems that I encountered myself, where the rewards for the risks were greatest. This place has always been and always will be my home, but everyone must leave home at some point. I'm grateful for everything that I was taught here, and I'm ready to head out into the world. Thank you.
If you've been on campus for almost any occasion over the last several years, you know this next graduate as a remarkably talented and versatile musician. It's impossible to imagine what our music program would have been without her. She's off to Chapman University to study conducting and performing arts. Our loss will be their gain. Sophie Q.
I would describe my Delphi journey as foundation and future. The foundation for building a better future, and the bridge from now to the world. I have described my passion in music as a conductor. I imagine myself standing on a stage with an orchestra before me. I have found the reality of who I am and what I am capable of. My mother used to say, "Go big or go home." Well, I believe with my solid foundation, I'm ready to go big and to accomplish my goals. Thank you.
Once a boisterous elementary student himself, this graduate enjoys nothing more than, well, teaching boisterous elementary students. He is excited about pursuing a career in education, specifically in forwarding Mr. Hubbard's educational philosophy and the Delphi program. Aspiring for a position with the Delphi Academy of Los Angeles, we're proud to give this diploma to Chad Burke.
Hello. The most important part of my time at Delphi was discovering basically who I am as a person and what I want to accomplish in the world. When I first came to Delphian, I was a person who had no idea what they were going to do with his future and his purpose in life. That is pretty normal for a young person, but I had no responsibility whatsoever for discovering that for myself. I went along with what my parents wanted to do, and I felt like I was being a good kid. But I quickly found out that was not going to cut it here. Through the academic and practical program, and with a lot of help from the staff, I know my life is finally my own. And I'm ready to own every single part of what that encompasses in the future. I hope to pay forward what I got from Delphian by forwarding the educational philosophy that they promote here, and bring some sanity in the chaos of the world. Thank you.
This thoughtful, diversely talented artist, athlete, and future humanitarian found a way to explore all kinds of interests while at Delphian. Along the way, she developed a quiet integrity all her own. We wish her the very best as she heads off to Fordham University this fall. Chiara Gentili.
A year before high school, an angel shined a light on me. That angel believed in me. He saw my future. This angel was my dad. He taught me I am my own power force, and I didn't belong in a school where fitting in was the standard. This school on this hill, I discovered, is a powerful light, made up of each individual shining their own light. It is so strong that even the sun closes its eyes. Here I realized what perfect really was. My mistakes, flaws, victories, and downfalls are what make me perfect. I could even say failing makes me perfect. That extra course I added for fun is what is perfect. The way the practical program is set up is what's perfect too. I could not grasp the full meaning of perfect until I met you, Delphi. My breath is taken away when I think about the opportunities you gave me. That is something I could not find anywhere else. I found my light, my happiness, and my goals here. Thank you.
Whether it was literature, advanced math, or physics, visual arts, or cycling, this next graduate always sought the highest standard. For some, good is good enough. For this individual, there's always the next level. At UC Berkeley, he plans to study computer science with a focus on artificial intelligence. This diploma is for Alex Howe.
I've longed to know what it means to live as a true individual, not someone who depends on others or waits for chances to turn up all the time. My 4 years as a Delphian has been the quest of seeking the answer. On Form 8, there's a book called Candide, in which the protagonist relied on power, relied on wealth, and relied on nature. By the end of the day, he finally came to realize that whatever happens, it was nothing but oneself that one can rely on. When reminded of his struggles, Candide simply replied, "That is well put, but we must cultivate our garden." I was truly enlightened that if I wish for things to go right, I must not stop and wait. Instead, I must use my own effort and determination to bring about a bright future in my dreams. And therefore, I must cultivate my own garden. I've come to realize that individuality does not mean special. It simply means being myself. It means being responsible for my past, my present, and my future. Once I have done that, my supports, my barriers, and everything in this world will all be at my service on my way to my success. Thank you.
This next graduate has inspired us with her dream of bringing positive change to the prevailing educational methods in China. With her strong will and independent thinking, she has earned our support and belief as she takes the next step towards her goals at the University of Utah, graduating with honors. Echo Wu.
As a child, I thought I was a good artist. The reason was simple. People around me said that I did great art. However, those pieces were just exact copies of work done by others. Later, luckily, I did the courses Professional Basics for an Artist and the Art History courses here. I discovered that the real value of an artist is himself, his own spirit, and that he paints what he is. At that moment, I knew that a real artist had been born here, an artist who can pursue her dreams without hesitation,
and an artist who can, by her art, tell who she really is. I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you.
When help was needed, this next graduate was almost guaranteed to somehow arrive on the scene, time and time again. Effective, genuine, selfless assistance was always the result. He will be missed when he heads off to Chapman University this fall. This diploma is for Jake Kugler.
Hello. Before Delphi, I would try to get by. I rejected challenges because I didn't want to do anything that was outside my comfort zone. I was afraid of failure. I would try to talk my way out of challenges by smiling, maybe cracking a joke. I quickly learned that this technique wouldn't work here. On my first day, I was looking around the fourth floor and I was like, yeah, no, this ain't gonna work. But the good news was I fell in love with the school that same day. I saw the seniors, I saw their integrity, and their courage, and their work ethic, and I wanted that too. I wanted this, but I didn't really think I had it in me. Through the various projects I did, the student council positions I held, and even the simple things like cleaning my room every single day, I learned that I was capable of taking on challenges. Even more, I saw how it was okay to fail, as long as I picked myself up and kept moving forward. Now, I love failing, for the most part. I learned that problems and failures represent an opportunity to grow. I went from saying, why me, to try me. Thank you.
Our final graduate today was a school leader, an athlete, a creative thinker, a Friday night rapper, and a trustworthy friend to so many. Supported by a significant scholarship, he takes his vibrant energy and enthusiasm for life to Whittier College this fall. We expect big things. Graduating with honors, Luca Marazzo.
Thank you. I used to think that everything could be done by a single person, and that having to ask help was a sign of weakness. I thought that being on a team and relying on your teammates meant that you weren't strong enough to face your problems alone. At Delphi, I realized some problems aren't meant to be faced alone. When I first got in student council, I tried to get everything done by myself. But as my responsibilities grew, I realized I needed to create a team of people to work with. Whether it meant running the student advisor program or simply planning an activity, I found that a team that works together and helps one another will always rise above a group of individuals that only look out for themselves. I learned that it does take an individual to lead a group, but that it takes a group to reach your goal. Of all the many lessons I've learned in my time here, I feel lucky to have learned this one in particular so early in my life. During the last month of school, I asked all the graduates here before you, in a few words, what Delphi was to them. As a final thank you to Mr. Siminoff for all the advice he didn't give us, to the staff, our headmaster, and our dean, and for our friends and family here with us today, I would like to share with you what they said. Delphi is a door, a path of self-discovery like no other. It's a start to a new life. Delphi is a sturdy foundation and a promising future. Delphi is freedom. It's empowering. It's sophisticated and it's extraordinary. Delphi is special. It's challenging, it's unique, it's magical. It's like Hogwarts. Delphi is responsibility, it's care, and it's love. Delphi is our family, and Delphi is our home. Thank you.
Thank you, graduates. The Delphian school bells are rung only once a year. That moment has come. Parents, families, and guests, are you ready to send forth these graduates? Yes! Okay. It's generally tradition for graduates to move their tassels from right to left, but last year's graduating class asked me why that was, and I didn't have a good enough answer for them. They then told me that even though they will have left the campus, they want to move their tassels from left to right to signify their intention to do right in life. This class has decided to carry forth that tradition. Graduates, please stand. Signify your willingness to take on the responsibilities of this world and to do right in life by moving your tassels from left to right. I present to you the graduating class of 2019.